from the students of Airwaves Media, bringing you news in and around Alma High School. You're watching the Airedale.
Welcome to the Airedale. I'm Destiny Wheeler.
And I'm Ben Mitchell. Today we'll be covering Family and Consumer Sciences, the Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps drill team, balancing school and work, plus much more coming up on the Airedale. Alma High School is a hub of activity, but for some students, the end of the school day doesn't mean it's time to relax. Up next, Stetson Goodson explores how many of our peers shift gears from students to employees and juggling homework with hourly shifts.
School itself is already hard enough for students, and some of these students have jobs as well. And this could lead to the biggest challenge of all, which is managing their time. And these students need to make sure they have enough time to get all their work done. Here are some strategies for getting work done.
The strategies I take is just any time that I have a few minutes to do work or whatever in any type of class or anything like that, I use it.
I really just only focus on school and work, and that's really just all I do. I don't really do a whole lot of extra stuff unless it's for school or work, so that I don't wear myself out and so that I can still succeed in both school and work.
One thing students should do is to try and see if they can get a job that allows the student to have flexibility with their schedule, but it isn't always possible. This has been Stetson Goodson from Airwaves Media reporting on balancing school and work.
High school seniors around the United States are prepping themselves for graduation, yet planning their futures after high school can be very nerve-wracking. Josh Wagley has some tips for making the transition easier.
As the final bell of high school life draws near, seniors face the daunting challenge of choosing what they want to do after high school. Most of them have chosen to go to college. It is a time filled with hopes, dreams, and the stress of trying to encapsulate years of hard work into a few short essays and forms, or even just the scholarship itself. I have asked Ms. Shelton for some tips to help navigate the maze of college admission together, offering tried and true tips to help you stand out from the crowd and secure a spot at your dream school.
So tips for seniors going into college is they really need to be applying for scholarships. They need to be spending a lot of time looking for scholarships, applying for scholarships. Don't wait till the last minute. The other thing is it's a good idea to start looking at when they need to get registered for dorms, when they need to, if some of them are kind of debating between a few different colleges, they need to be sure that they're taking time to go and visit those colleges, spend some time on campus, go based off of what their gut feeling is rather than what their friend says about the school, because they're going to have to make a decision at some point, and so the more information they have, the better off they're going to be. So those are the main tips for kids that are going into college, is to go ahead and apply for scholarships. They're going to need that. Figure out which campuses they need to visit, be taking care of that. Dormitories, because those fill up so quickly these days. Those are my main tips.
As you push forward on the path to your future, remember that the college admission process is just one part of your incredible journey. With organization, passion, and a bit of courage, you can present your best self to admission committees. Don't forget to take deep breaths. Stay true to who you are, and no matter where you end up, know that you have the potential to achieve great things. The road to college may be paved with essays, deadlines, and decisions, but it's also a start of a new chapter filled with opportunities and growth. For Airwaves Media, I'm Joshua Wagley.
AP Literature is a very interesting class that is challenging and demanding, yet also can be very engaging. And with this class, there are requirements like reading specific books for exams. But what kind of books would be best for this? Well, here is Destiny Wheeler to educate us.
There are many different classes at Alma High School, but a very interesting class that not only challenges but also encourages students is AP Literature. Something that most AP Lit students have come to realize is that at the end of the year, there'll be an exam that will require them to have at least read a book that fits with the prompt of the question. But what kind of books can they use for this exam? Here's Miss Dixon to educate us.
The Great Gatsby is a perfect book for the AP Lit exam. The Kite Runner, Death of a Salesman, The Color Purple.
For people who have a hard time decoding Shakespeare, there are also newer works like The Goldfinch and All the Light We Cannot See. But even though we know what books are allowed for this exam, why is it important that these books are of literary merit? And what does it mean for a book to be of literary merit? Here is Miss Dixon to tell us.
The questions that you all are asked in the essay portion of the exam require you to usually identify a universal theme or a universal truth. So you want something that has withstood the test of time, that has multiple themes within it, that addresses multiple issues humans can relate to. You want to make sure that there's enough in the books that you're reading that you can actually write a whole essay about it, because the themes that they're going to ask are going to be pretty hefty.
This is Destiny Wheeler with Airwaves Media. The American College Test, or more popularly known as the ACT, was first introduced in 1959. Historically, this college entrance exam has also been taken on paper, but with the help of advanced technology, students can now take the test online. Here's Caden Daspit with more about this topic.
The ACT is something we can all relate to. We all have to take it at some point, and it looks great on college applications. Used to, this assessment had to be taken on paper. However, recently, there's been some new changes. It can now be taken on a computer, so instead of writing away with your hands, getting some wrist cramps along the way, you can simply swipe and click. Not only does this make it more convenient for some, but it also makes it more accessible to others. However, some people do like to stick to the classic old paper.
I prefer the paper version because I can use the test paper as scratch paper and I can mark out answers, and I know you can do that on the computer version, but you can just do more on the actual test, and I prefer that myself.
Signing up for this is very simple. There's no added fees or anything. You simply just go to the website, and whenever you're signing up for your ACT, you just click the computer option. This has been Caden Daspit with Airwaves Media.
There are several ways that you can get lunch detention and SDC, but a very common way is skipping class, the practice of ditching classes. Shayla Ritchie and Lee Nichols have more on this taboo habit.
A lot of kids skip class because they're not in their right minds and don't want to go to class. It's becoming a big problem in high school, and there are several different punishments for getting up to 1 day of SDC to getting up to 3 days of SDC.
You're going to be counted unexcused in that class. At the end of the day, we get reports that say, hey, this student was here all day except for this one class. So then we get with the teacher of the class that you missed to see, was this person in class or not? And they say, no, they weren't in class. Well, then at that point it comes to me or Miss Moore, and it becomes disciplinary at that point. Now, obviously, we have a little bit of discretion discipline-wise on what we do, but the general rule is if you skip class, a one-period class on campus here, you're going to SDC for a day.
Consequences usually depend on how many days you skip and how your attitude is when you talk to the principal.
If you skip it like let's say you skip 5th and 6th period, so you skip 2 classes, we'll still treat that usually as one. So it'd be a day of SDC, but if you do it multiple days, then you may end up in SDC for every day that you skipped that class. So consequences are going to be there. It's just sometimes on these consequences too, it's a matter of kind of how your attitude is when we're visiting. Is it a good attitude, in which case we don't go as hard, we go the SDC but not the full amount, or is you got a poor attitude, in which case the consequences are going to go up on you.
This is Shayla and Lee with Airwaves Media.
Alma High School students have great opportunities to learn a variety of skills that will get them through life, including food preparation, sewing, and more. Kenna Jones looks into how family and consumer science allow students to learn these important skills.
FACS stands for Family and Consumer Sciences. It is a course here at Alma High School that is taken by many students who want to know a few life skills that they will need not only in high school, but also in the community, workforce, and even in family relationships. Alma's FACS class covers many topics including nutrition and finances. If you want to learn more about the FACS class here at Alma High School, go to room 1109 and talk to Miss Blackwell. This has been Kana Jones for Airwaves Media.
Every teacher has an arsenal of methods for teaching students due to the needs of the individual. Chris French and JJ Stovall take a look into techniques used to keep students engaged.
Teachers use a wide variety of methods to teach kids how to learn, and every student learns in a different manner. Here is a veteran teacher with the ways she has taught things.
My motivation is that I want children to learn about science and how science helps them, how science can lead to an enriching career, how they can become a doctor, nurse, teacher, physical therapist, sports medicine, an engineer, sports engineering. There are so many fields that they can go into that are all science-based.
Lots of teachers' teaching styles change over the years. So let's hear what a veteran teacher has to say about the situation.
Changed dramatically in 40 years. When I first started to teach in the 80s, it was all about, it was face-to-face instruction, but the teacher did most of the talking, and kids took work home and did homework. So the teacher talked most of the period, kids took notes, maybe did a short assignment, then they did an assignment at home. As the 90s came, it became more of an individualized instruction, trying to base it on the kids' needs, also trying to base it on the kids' ability. Turned into a lot of group work also. And then in 2000s, after No Child Left Behind, I will say it was a train wreck for a little while because grades pretty much, the grades we have today, a lot of times, I'll be really honest, the grades we give kids today a lot of times would be called inflated grades because the work effort that the kid put in to get that grade is not as much work as the kids put in prior years.
For classrooms of students to succeed, teachers might have to change their methods of learning to get each and every student's full potential. This has been JJ Stovall and Chris French signing off with Airwaves Media.
NJROTC recently did what is known as a PT week. During this week, they did PT, or physical training, every day for 1 week. We now join Hunter Cole as he finds out more about this very painful week.
During the week of November 6th through the 10th, the cadets of Alma NJROTC did a PT week, where they did physical training every single day for those 5 days. I spoke to Senior Chief Peel about this thrilling week.
We took advantage of the weather. The weather was gorgeous last week, and we don't get outside enough, and we're coming into the winter months, and it was just an excellent way to get everybody outside, get them active, get them involved before the winter sets in and everybody gets depressed.
Do they plan on doing any more PT weeks? Well, of course they do, as it helps the cadets get stronger physically and mentally, as well as improve their health, appearance, and self-confidence.
Absolutely. It's, that's one of those things, if you only PT twice a week, on Mondays and on Fridays, you're really not gaining much on it. It's, the way we do that is, it's more giving folks some ideas of things that they can do at home, do on their own if they're wanting to change their lifestyle and get more physically fit. But if we want to generate momentum in certain areas, then we'll go ahead and switch and do the 1 week PT.
This is Hunter Cole with Airwaves Media.
According to the National Institutes of Health, approximately 73% of teens drink caffeinated beverages daily. Yet, what are the health effects of consuming caffeine? Sarah Nutt takes a deeper look into this jolting issue.
Caffeinated drinks are all over supermarket checkout lines, and they can make a convenient boost of energy for high school students. Although it may seem like an easy way to beat being tired, this can become an issue once teens start to rely on these drinks daily. Dr. Omar Khan from Mercy Hospital has some input on the subject.
So caffeine is, a mild stimulant. It makes everybody a little bit more alert, but it also affects our sleep in a negative way. It can increase anxiety.
These side effects may seem temporary, but Dr. Kahn says that there can be some serious health risks later in life with constant caffeine intake as a teen.
Some of the health risks we get with regular high intake levels of caffeine include things like heart arrhythmias. So when our heart no longer beats regularly in rhythm like it's supposed to, as well, you're taking it to help you stay more alert and focused, and it might help for that short term. Chronic use of that caffeine will actually decrease our alertness and focus and concentration in the long term.
Caffeine is okay in limited quantities, like if you need to stay up to study for a test or if you're particularly tired one morning. But once you become dependent on caffeine, it could become a serious health risk. I'm Sarah Nutt with Airwaves Media.
The Alma Airedale varsity football team had a great season this year, and Louis Alexander spoke to one of our coaches for a recap.
As the football season draws to a close, it's time to look back and review 2023 football season at Alma High School.
Thought the season went pretty good. 7 wins. It's the most we've had since Coach Bush took over as head coach, and I took over as offense coordinator. But I thought kids played really good, bought into both sides of football, offense, defense, and had a pretty good year.
Alma's team has faced off against squads from across the region. The highlights of the start of the season was undoubtedly the fierce competition with our biggest rival, Van Buren, in the much-anticipated Battle of the Bone.
656 yards of offense. Jackson Daly rushed for 320 that night. So anytime we can put up big numbers like that, that's always probably, for us offense coaches, that's the fun part. So I would say the Farmington game was the best part.
One team that we've matched up against for years is Clarksville. The Airedales had an exceptionally good game against them this year, winning 45-15. This is just one of the many games we've won this year. That wraps up our review of the 2023 Alma High School football season. I'm Louis Alexander with Airwaves Media. Thank you for tuning in.
5, 4. Alma's cheer team surely has the greatest Alma pride out of all of us, and they take their pride seriously when preparing to compete. We've got Devin Reed to inform you of this topic.
High school cheerleaders elevate school spirit and athletic skills. It is one of the many things you can do for a school activity. They go to different types of events like football games and competitions. It is also a lot of fun. So I talked with Coach Law about why cheerleading is such a great sport to be a part of.
We're super excited. We had a great finish at our state competition last year. We ended up in 3rd, so we're hungry to get in the top 2 this year.
Cheerleading takes a lot of hard work and dedication. It also requires a lot of endurance and skill training.
So we've been practicing a lot to prepare for our upcoming competition. Just last night we actually traveled to Ozark and we had a joint practice with their cheer team so that we could get feedback from their coaches, and I was able to give their team feedback. But overall we've just been practicing a lot, trying to nail our routine down.
If you have interest in pumping up the crowd and cheering on sports teams, you should consider trying out for cheer. I'm Devin Reed from Airwaves Media.
Even though there are several fantastic electives at Alma High School, dance is a very popular choice, with 21% of high school students participating in this activity. Here is Kenton Huggins and Peyton Griffith shuffling it up with more information.
Dance teams has a lot of features that include going to competition that requires a lot of practice and hard work every day in order to get to all state championships.
Normally, during a normal week, we practice 3 times a week. We actually practice at 6 a.m. in the morning, and so we have 3 different routines, and so we'll have 1 practice per routine during the week. And then we practice during 4th period during the school day, and then sometimes during competition weeks, we'll have after-school practices every once in a while as well. So we had 3 invitationals. So our first competition weekend was October 7th, and then we competed October 21st and then October 28th. So we have 3 invitationals that we do before state. So that's to compete against some of our biggest rivals and to get judges' feedback, and we kind of like make changes to the dances throughout the year so that we can get them in their best shape before state.
Teams that make it to state competition will be judged on technique, performance, and overall full team impression.
So it just depends on what the routine is, but we actually have 4 different judges at invitationals and at state. There's 2 execution judges and then 2 choreography judges. So there'll be 2 people that execution is kind of how you're doing the choreography, and then choreography judges are kind of what you're doing. So they're judging like your formations and your song choices and what your choreographer has decided to do to the music. And then the execution judges are judging how you're doing your turns. Do you have good technique? Are your levels correct? Are you doing facials, like things like that? So it's kind of, they're judging what you're doing and also how you're doing it.
It's evident that being a part of the dance team takes a lot of help, work, and practice. Together, it'll make the team better. This is Peyton Griffith from Airwaves Media.
Bingo! A popular pastime here in the U.S. And if you're a fan of bingo, then you'll want to listen in. Alma FFA is holding a bingo night. Abigail Spencer has more on this exciting event.
Alma FFA is hosting their 4th annual Bingo and Chili Night at the AHS Union December 7th. It will begin at 6 p.m.
Students will, with the meat and chili supplies we get donated from the community.
The dinner is by donation, with all proceeds going to Shop with the Cop. Sponsors of FFA have pulled together a multitude of prizes that can be won.
We get lots of prizes donated from different businesses around the community. We had a bow target, we had some mechanic supplies like lighters, tools, we also had gift baskets, we had a pie auction, those endless prizes. So what we do is we either buy pies or have local people that we know in the FFA chapter, they bake pies. We usually have around 5 to 8 pies that we will actually auction off, and those profits go to Shop the Cop.
The event provides food and entertainment to the community for a great cause. This has been Abigail Spencer for Airwaves Media.
The changing of seasons from summer to fall can bring along with it a lot of beautiful colors and intriguing views. Ben Mitchell takes a view into this incredible time of year.
Whether it's because of the graceful falling leaves or the vibrant and varying colors everywhere this time of year, the season of fall is a universally amazing and awe-inspiring experience. Fall is also known as autumn, and Americans have colloquialized this to fall because of daylight savings time, but some also believe that it's because of the falling leaves. Fall happens because the Earth is tilted. In fact, the whole Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees. But more specifically, its obliquity and partial heating due to the sun causes the seasons. In less nerdy terms, the sun heats part of the Earth better in part of the year, and the part that isn't being heated will be in either winter or fall. When it's heating up, it'll be in spring. But this story isn't about spring. I hope you all enjoyed your fall break and Thanksgiving, of course. And this has been Ben Mitchell with Airwaves Media. Thanksgiving just recently passed, but what do people do on Thanksgiving? Peyton Phillips has more on this very topic.
Thanksgiving is one of the most important American holidays to this day. The first Thanksgiving was in 1621, around 430 years ago. It was first celebrated by the Pilgrims after the first harvest and was attended by 90 Native Americans and 53 survivors of the Mayflower.
I celebrate Thanksgiving by stuffing my face and getting fat. I go to family functions and I eat. I eat a lot. I eat a lot of bread rolls. Bread roll!
What me and my family usually do is we usually just have food, have fun, and just talk to each other and have a good time.
My entire family, on my dad's side and my mom's side, we all go down to Little Rock to my grandparents' house, and we all just eat there.
Thanksgiving is a very important tradition to most Americans as it is a symbol for the first harvest and as a way to give thanks to many. It is a time for gathering with family and friends, to share a traditional meal, and showing thanks for the wonderful things in life. This is Peyton C. Phillips for Airwaves Media.
Rebecca, I celebrate Thanksgiving. You should too.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Airedale, and don't forget to subscribe to all of our YouTube channels, and make sure to follow all of our social medias at Airwaves Media. And as always,
Go Airedales!